Welcome back to my channel. Let's explore that last Perdomo Lot 23 today. This is the Connecticut. It is a 6x50 Toro. Same size as the other two I explored, the Maduro and the Sun-Grown. These do come in 5 sizes. Let's get this thing opened up, get it lit up right away. I have got a bourbon pairing to go with it as well. So I expect this one to be the lightest of the three, of course. Expect it to be creamy, like, of course, cedar, honey, your typical stuff that you get out of these. Paid $9 for this, just like the other two. Get a straight cut on that. Your cold draw. Again, more cedar and honey. Very light tobacco flavors. This has a great leaf on it. Here's that cigar band. There we go, lot 23. We're back in Nicaragua on lot 23. I love the Connecticut wrappers from Perdomo. They're so good. All right, let's get it toasted up. How's everybody doing today? What are you guys drinking? What are you guys smoking? You know, I think these lighter sticks, they want you to pair these more with like a coffee. I went the opposite direction today. The bourbon I have is the exact opposite of coffee as far as strength is concerned. I've got a Cask strength bourbon for us today. Let's get this thing fired up and then we'll get into that. Oh yeah. That's so nice and light. Wow. I may be jumping the gun a bit here, but right on light, this is going to be my favorite lot 23, even over the Maduro. Oh, wow. Just the quality of this stick. I mean, take a look at that leaf. The thing's just beautiful. There's that cut end. You know, nothing extraordinary, just the perfecto cut on it. Get a little spice on the retro, a little bit in the throat and the back of my tongue, but all in a good way. Nothing bad to report here at all. Whoa, this thing is awesome. Very light. I would say this is a mild cigar. All right, let's put that down and get to our bourbon pairing. If you're having deja vu, it's because I've featured this bottle on my channel before. This is the Maker's Mark Cask Strength. This is coincidental, but I did notice that this is batch 23, lot 23, batch 23. You may not believe that, but until I got outside, I didn't even think about the coincidence there. So this is 109.5 proof. The bottle that I featured on my channel before was 112 proof, 112 something proof. I like to get between 110 and 114 with these, but I looked through about 24 bottles of these when I was looking to buy this again. As soon as I run out of this, I buy it. This is just something I keep. 42 bucks on sale at my PA liquor store. This is one of my favorite bourbons of all time. It's hard to read that because it's kind of a see-through label there. You see how beautiful it is though. There we go. So even at 109, I'm buying this. There's nothing stopping me from buying this bottle once I'm out. It's not a daily drinker of, you know, but pretty close to it. I like to drink it often, definitely every week. Let's get a cork pull. Oh, that was a really solid one. Nice. Okay, some in a glass, let it breathe a little. All right. That typical Maker's Mark smell. Maker's is a wheated bourbon, so you are going to get a different type of smell out of it in a good way. Been looking forward to this, just like every Perdomo I smoke. But I was curious how this Connecticut wrapper was going to change things. These are aged for 5 years. A lot of coincidences today. Aged for 5 years, 5 different sizes. This is a $9, as I mentioned, stick. I think this is, if you're looking to get into Perdomos, maybe start here. Start with these Lot 23s. Pick which one, which blend you like the most, a Maduro, Sungrown, or Connecticut. I recommend starting here. If you don't know where to start with the Connecticut. If you like lighter cigars, most people kind of have an idea what they like, or at least you think you know what you like. When I first got into this, I was all in on Maduros. I'm a Maduro guy. And then as it turns out, I'm leaning a lot more towards the Connecticut's. I love them. The Connecticut is the wrapper. So this lighter wrapper here. In a month, I may be a sun-grown guy. That's the point of this exploration, is that you change as you go through it. Don't fight change. Embrace it and enjoy it, because it's probably one of the best things about this exploration journey, other than actually smoking and drinking. It's burning perfect. Got a great ash. It's a beautiful day here. Unseasonably warm. Looking about 75 degrees here at the headquarters, which is nice. I don't really like being out in the cold and wind when I'm smoking cigars, but I'm smoking cigars, whatever the weather is. It could be snowing and I'm going to smoke one. This is a very stiff, hard stick. It does have a little bit of give when you push. The draw is fantastic, as with most of these. Now, Perdomo does draw test all their cigars, and if you don't know what that means, and you haven't seen that, go on their website or go on YouTube and type in Perdomo draw testing. They show you a video of how they draw. Because I'm like, how do you draw test a cigar without the head cut? How can you draw test it? But they actually, I don't know if they invented it or not. I'm not trying to kiss Perdomo's ass too much here, but they have a machine, or multiple machines, where they actually can draw test it based on air pressure and all this different stuff. So that's a good reason why I've never had a Perdomo not draw. I had a Perdomo crack, this one, the Lot 23 Sun-Grown. If you watch that video, it survived, it made it, I smoked it all, but it did have some issues. But other than that, I haven't had many issues with these guys at all, and especially not the draw. To draw test every single cigar that you make and still have a I'd say, I know the 30th anniversaries get up there a little bit. Let's just throw a high number out there. $9 to $15 on those 30ths. That's amazing that they'll draw test every stick, and that you still can't find one that's, from what I've experienced. And again, this is all my experiences. I don't look this stuff up. I'm just going from store to store to store, whether a brick and mortar or online. $9 to $15. And never had a bad experience. Had an issue, but not a bad experience. There's a difference. This is so enjoyable to me. And I know on again, I'm going to keep talking about online and YouTube and everything, but a lot of people would pair this with like coffee or maybe even a lighter bourbon, scotch, whiskey. But to me, and I do a lot of these pairings, not too bad at them. I think we'd all agree on that. The lighter stick seems like it would go better with a strong whiskey, you know. So this is cask strength, again, 109 proof. Without further ado, let's get into that. See what we got going on. I would like this to air out a lot more than 5, 4, 3 minutes, whatever it was since I poured it in the glass. A lot of honey, caramel. And then if you haven't, had much experience with Makers, Makers has a distinct smell, kind of like that Buffalo Trace. You can tell it's from that specific distillery. This one, you can tell it's from the Maker's Mark distillery in Loretto, Kentucky. I'd like this to air out more than that, but I want you to see me open the bottle. I think people enjoy that. Let me know in the comments if you care. Does it matter to you that I open the bottle on the video? Should I pour this in a glass an hour before, and does that matter to you? All right, here we go. So remember, first sip of the day, no matter what bourbon or whiskey you're drinking, kind of let the first sip go all over your mouth and don't judge it too harshly. And then the second sip, put it on the back of your tongue, on the top of your tongue, keep it there for a second, and then kind of swallow it immediately. I'm not a professional whiskey taster. This is just, again, what I'm learning through my journey. It's very good. Absolutely worth $42. I'm getting that cherry. The Makers has a distinct cherry, just like Buffalo Trace, believe it or not. I do like it. It doesn't seem like it would matter. The 109 proof to 112 proof doesn't seem like it would make a big difference, but I can literally tell because I drink this stuff so often. Those 3 points, the 112s are just better. Like I said, I recommend if you can find them, anything between 110 and 114, and the higher the better. I'd say 112 is the sweet spot. The last bottle I had was a 112. It wasn't over the top better than this, but I'll be honest, so far, initial first 2 sips, the higher proof was a little better. I think if you drink something enough, you can actually tell. I don't think if I put the two next to each other for somebody that doesn't enjoy this often, they'd be able to tell, but I can definitely tell. The retro's so light, even with that little bit of spice on there, it's so nice and light. The cigar is so light and enjoyable. It feels like you could inhale it. Like if you wanted to, like if you were a person that said, I want to inhale my cigar, I don't care what people say, I want to, maybe you just want, I don't know what the reason would be. Maybe you can't help but inhale when you take a puff off something, this is one that you could probably inhale. I mean, this is as light as it gets while still being enjoyable. I mean, this makes that got like a little coffee bean or something in there, like a little earthy. Interesting. I mean, this makes that Man o' War 10th anniversary Virtue seem like a medium cigar. This thing's so mild. Don't let it turn you off to it, though. I mean, unless you hate mild cigars and you only like medium full-bodied, give this thing a try. Definitely recommend it. Yeah, when you chew on the smoke, you get like a, it's not really coffee bean. It's like a earthy sort of hay. Like a hay and honey. I had someone kind of, not criticize, but we're a little confused on when I said honey. Every time I describe something, you got to kind of take it as it's as light as you could imagine. When I say honey, I'm not talking about like jarred honey from a store and you take a spoonful or even like a little lick of it or something. It's not like that. It's just sort of like a honey undertone to the tobacco, like somebody sprayed a mist of honey water onto it. You know, it's just a very subtle, slight little note. I'm just trying to describe, you know, what these things sort of give you as far as the flavor profiles. And by no means am I any kind of an expert. These are just my opinions. You may smoke this and not get what I get out of it. You know, I think it depends on what you've had to eat and drink that day. I typically don't like to eat or drink anything before I review these or explore these. I'm going to show you guys this cork real quick before I forget. It's one of Maker's actual corks. A lot of times they have screw tops. You know, and this says the iconic wax, of course. I think everything they make has this wax on it, whether it's a screw top or a cork. Fits in there nice. The initial cork pull was like killer. It's not bad still. So, you know, these videos, they're just to give you an idea. And most important thing is that you enjoy watching me make them. You know, you enjoy watching me explore these sticks and these whiskeys. You know, take 20 minutes, an hour out of your day, whatever you have, 5 minutes, and hang out with me a little bit. I have a friend. He's a little gnat. Like I said, it's a little warm here today. So he is really interested in this whiskey. I'm almost tempted to just let him have some because it'll probably kill him. That's how strong it is. I can smell the cherry now, which I couldn't smell until I tasted it. Kind of like a little bit of an almond in this as well. Not really almond though. Again, very kind of on the lighter almond dusty side. Wow, that stuff is so good. There's a couple of bottles of whiskey on the market that are just phenomenal for the price. These Maker's Mark cask drinks are one of them. I'm going to get some hate here, but I think the Knob Creek, you know, the standard offering from them, their 9-year bourbon, I think is fantastic for the money. I think they're 40 bucks where I live, but they're on sale all the time for 37. You know, and then I like a lot of those budget bourbons too. The Wild Turkey 101, the Evan Williams Bottled in Bond. You know, a lot of these things. I had a person comment on my Jim Beam age 7 year video. He said he's getting those. I'm not sure if it's a he. I just assume everybody watching this is mostly watching this is men, but I shouldn't assume that. I apologize, ladies, if you're also watching. I'm happy you're here. Very happy you're here. The person said that they get it for 21 bucks where they live all the time. And I was jealous because I think I paid 27 for it, and I don't think I'll be able to get it for cheaper than 27 without traveling. $6. That's a pretty big difference. You know, maybe that person lives closer to the Jim Beam distillery. You know. Very rarely do I get anything in my mouth from these things. Very rarely. It's like a little piece. I'm trying to take my time with this stick. It's hard when I really like it. It's hard to take my time. That's a big dog. My neighbors, they have a couple of Rottweilers. This is just getting better and better. This bourbon's just getting better and better. This does not have an age statement on it. I wonder how old it is. It just says it's aged. Barrel proof, full flavored, yet still smooth, refined, thanks to the soft red winter wheat we used since the beginning. Truest reflection of who we are and what we do. Yeah, I'll say. Maker's Mark, if you're watching, don't raise the price on that bottle. Please keep it where it is. It is, I mean, they've got everything from their entry level, which is about 30 bucks, up until I think I saw a $180 bottle the other day. I was in New York City for work yesterday and stopped into just a random wine and spirits down in Greenwich Village in Manhattan, Lower Manhattan, and everything was just real expensive. But New York City, you know, you can't get a cup of coffee for less than $5 there, so I expected it, but I thought you never know. I wasn't exactly bourbon hunting or anything. I just had a couple minutes to spare and just stuck my head in there. Trouble with me is, like, they had a Rock Hill Farms in there, and they had it labeled at like 140 bucks. So I can't, for me, I'd rather buy 3 bottles of this Maker's for 140 bucks, you know, than buy 1 bottle of anything. But, you know, that may have been a decent price on that Rock Hill, or maybe it was way overpriced. I know I watch channels on YouTube, and Rock Hill is supposedly one of the best bourbons out there. but I can't justify spending $140 on a bottle of booze. Even when I spend 70 or 75, excuse me, that seems like too much. Maybe I'll step it up, but I could spend $140 on a bottle of whiskey, but I just don't see the need for it when there's stuff that's this good for under $50. Sometimes under $40 and under $30 is some really good stuff. And like I said on this channel before, I've been burned on $50, $60 bottles. That Chattanooga cask strength whiskey is coming back. I'm gonna make another cigar video featuring that whiskey. That stuff was so good. I haven't touched it since the video because I can't get it on the regular, and it was just phenomenal. It was the maltiest, you know, in the best possible way, maltiest whiskey I've ever had. You know, maybe malt turns some people away or turns them off, but I like different things. I like wheated whiskeys. I like rye whiskey. You know, I like whiskeys with malt, obviously. Even the Jim Beam products were, you know, surprisingly decent. That 7 years, pretty good. Definitely would buy that again, even at my price of $27. And the Devil's Cut, which I still think they're liars. They're not squeezing the barrel to get the bourbon, to get the whiskey out of the barrel wood, but at the price point, that's the same thing, like $27. They just kind of have them all priced the same, all those kind of specialty Jim Beams. I'd buy that again and drink it as a regular, you know, an everyday sipper. It had a nice woody flavor and oak in it. Who wouldn't like a little bit of oak in their whiskey, right? Jim Beam makes a double oaked. I've had a double oaked on this channel, the Woodford Reserve double oaked. That is phenomenal. Again, a little pricey. The Jim Beam double oaked is about the same thing, $27. But my issue with that is it's not at 90 proof. I like 90 proof and above. I'm a snob with the proof, and that's an 86 proof. I may just try it. Why not? Maybe it's worth checking out on the channel here, exploring it, see what it has to offer. Maybe it'll surprise me. I mean, it's only 4 proof points away from my basic minimum, so I just wish all these manufacturers would do what Maker's Mark did with this cask strength and give it to me out the barrel, whatever proof it is. Don't water it down to make it commercially unscary. You know, give them 2 versions. There should be 2 bottles on the shelves next to each other. You know, a double oaked cask strength and a double oak, whatever proof you think people want. In this case, I guess they think people want an 86 proof. I don't know where you get that either. Why not just make it 90? You know, I guess there's a reason I'm not in that industry, because I don't know what I'm doing. Or maybe I do know what I'm doing. Maybe I should be in that industry. I don't know. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you're drinking and smoking today. I love hearing from people. I absolutely read every comment. And a lot of times I go back and reread them. I've learned a lot from comments that people have left, which is super awesome. Like, it's one of my favorite things about this channel is interacting with people. I don't have a social media page. I don't have Facebook or anything like that. The only form of social media I use is YouTube. So if you want to leave a comment, or if you leave a comment, don't think for 1 second that it hasn't been read by me. And I look at everything, and usually I respond. If it's a comment that I think you would like me to respond to, I'll respond to it. That gnat is no longer flying. He is just crawling around the table. So maybe he is drunk. I don't know. He's just not crawling, walking around the table. That'd be funny if he was crawling. Some of you have mentioned in one of my videos, I mentioned about meeting some of you guys, some of my subscribers up at Cigars International. I would still want to do that. If you guys are ever interested, leave me a comment. If you can get there, if you're close by, it is, whether I'm there or not, you should go, because you'll find great deals up there. And it's if you love premium cigars, or even budget cigars, they have tons of budget stuff too. It is like a holy experience up there. It's awesome. They got food and a bar. Again, they're not giving me anything to say this stuff. This is just literally me, sharing my thoughts. My thoughts and feelings on it. Oh, this stick is so good. Wow. I think it's safe to say that these Lot 23s, that I may have just had sort of a bad experience with the sun-grown, as far as the quality of the stick. That was probably like a one-off. I still have a few of these in my stock that I'm going to explore. Not the 23s, but Perdomos. So stay tuned. That's an old school saying, like we're on TV here. But stay tuned. I'm going to keep making videos. Now that gnat's flying around again. If you can get this Toro, a 6x50, this is a great size in these 23s. They have 5 sizes. Maybe a Churchill is another good size. Lot 23 and Lot 23, Lot 23 and Batch 23. That's such a weird coincidence. When I buy those makers, I don't ever look at the batches. I'm just looking at proof. I don't look at the batch number. I'm just looking at the proof on it. Ooh, that stuff is yummy. It has way more flavor than it did when I first took a sip. It's just opening up in this cup. when you nose bourbon or whiskey, keep your nose back a little bit and nose it with your mouth closed, and then nose it with your mouth open. You get a little something different. The airflow moves in and out. You can smell the proof on it, but it's not overwhelming. It's not overly strong. Even these two buildings on this cigar band and on this bottle, like even the buildings are kind of similar. That's interesting. Yeah, cedar, almonds, slightest little bit of honey water. To me, this light cigar, this mild cigar, goes perfectly with that cask strength, heavy whiskey, heavy proof. We're almost halfway through the stick. It's done nothing but got better. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that Nat is drunk. Now he's crawling on my hand. Yeah, I could see smoking these every day. No doubt. This is such a great light smoke. We'll probably smoke another cigar later today. In the evening, after dinner, after a meal. And I'll pick something that's sort of on the opposite spectrum of this. I'm going to pick a medium to full-bodied stick to just enjoy. What pops in my head is a Rocky Patel Decade. Those are fantastic and nice and rich and full-bodied. I smoked a Cohiba red dot the other day. I already made a video. I explored that on this channel, but I smoked one off camera the other night just to enjoy by myself and relax after dinner, and it disappointed me. It wouldn't draw right. And I remember MSRP on that Churchill was a red dot, Cohiba red dot Churchill. It was $24. I didn't pay that, but had I paid that, I would have been pissed. It wasn't drawing right. And as I started to goof around with the end of it, I found a big stem right in the end. You could see the end of the stem, and it was about this big, so it went down about that far, and it was frustrating me. Like, it wouldn't draw, so I literally pulled that out, and when I did that, it messed up the cigar pretty bad, the head, the end here. So I had to literally take a knife and like recut it, because I couldn't use my cigar cutter. I had to take a knife and like cut it, and so it looked like the old days in the cartoons where the guy has the cigar and the end is all chewed up. And so I'm one of those people, I don't want to waste cigars, even if I didn't pay MSRP. So I cut it, I pulled the stem out. It was kind of busted up on the end, and I cut it off with a knife. What a pain, The idea of this, enjoying these premium cigars is to relax and enjoy them, not do surgery on them. So I did, and I got it to the point where it was fine. It wasn't pretty, and it messed up my experience a little bit with it, but I did end up smoking it all. But even and this is why I have trouble paying $20-$30 for a cigar, because I don't think they're immune to that stuff, and that's a great example of it. I almost turned my camera on, but I didn't think anybody would really want to see that. It was just frustration and messiness, basically. It was messy and not a good look. But, I think eventually I'm going to find my wheelhouse. I mean, we do have a piece of the puzzle here. This is going to be, I can't imagine that one day I stop smoking Perdomos. I don't think that's ever going to happen. This is pretty much my go-to. If you said you have one brand to smoke the rest of your life, right now you have to pick it, I'm just picking Perdomo. But there's lots of great stuff. La Flor Dominica is a great brand. I had a little bit of trouble with the Arturo Fuente, but I know those are good cigars. The Man of Wars, good cigars. And the Quorums for budget cigars, fantastic. I had a couple of Quorums the other day. I had a Shade early in the day, and then I had a Sun-Grown in the evening, and they were both super enjoyable. And the two of those together were $4, $2 a piece. So less than half of what one of these is. Again, it's variety's the spice of life, right? I don't think I ever want to stop trying new things and exploring different brands and different cigars. That 5 Vegas that I smoked, that I was joking around in my video and lit it with a match and said, is it the longest ash for a cigar, with a match lit cigar ever, that's my only 5 Vegas I've ever had. I did look into more of them. We got more of them coming, and try different variety of them. But, I'm assuming those are also really good. The La Historia, yeah, La Historia. Damn, I should know, because that's one of my favorites. I mean, those sticks are fantastic. I should try other varieties. The Olivas, I've had a few of those. Obviously, the Master Blends 3, if you watch this channel at all. I think I have 3 videos with those in it. Those are one of my favorites as well. So for a new cigar smoker, explorer, I've had quite a few different things already. I think I have, at least I can have an opinion on some of this stuff. I could just stick my nose in here all day. Does anybody mess with the cask strength stuff? Have you, you know, however you drink, you know, do you mix it with soda, you know, cola or whatever? Do you put, is it your go-to? Somebody out there does it. What I've learned here too is that somebody does everything, you know. All right, let's get this label off. Cigar band off. This comes right off, no problem at all. Absolutely no damage to the leaf. Just perfection. Another thing I do sometimes is I stick my cigar end into the bourbon like that. I don't notice that it does a whole lot after the first or second draw. It's a good way to incorporate your whiskey into the actual smoke. Does not affect the draw. Yeah, this is this is one of the most enjoyable Connecticut, you know, leaf cigars I've had in a very long time. I'm very curious what the Habano Connecticut's going to be like. Last third, it's getting a little spicier. Again, not in a bad way. There's no complaints here. Yep, this will be one of the ones I'm disappointed when it's gone. What a pair. What a pair. Whoa. I don't know if that was a bee or a fly. I really don't want to get stung on or off camera. So I don't know what that was, but I guess we'll find out when we watch the video back. other than dipping your end of your cigar into your whiskey, if you take a sip of whiskey and you kind of leave, like, not some in your mouth, but if you leave your palate kind of coated with it, like right as you swallow the majority, but leave some in there, take a drag off your cigar. It's another good way to kind of combine them in your mouth. You definitely get some extra stuff there. Sort of elevates each one. I can't express how enjoyable this is. I'm trying. Yeah, I think that if I had to guess, I talked about the Cohiba Red Dot giving me a problem. I don't think that all these manufacturers draw test their cigars like Perdomo does. I think if they draw tested the one that I smoked, that Cohiba Red Dot, that it wouldn't have gotten put out. It was so bad. And I mean, it may have been a combination of more than just that stem. I wish I would have taken a picture of that stem. I mean, it was a stick. It wasn't a stem. It was a stick. I'm exaggerating a little. It was about this big, about an inch, a little more than an inch, maybe, inch and a half. And it just ruined the cigar. I mean, a lot of people would have just chucked that cigar. It's not really my style, but especially somebody who didn't pay for $24, maybe just chucked it. But I'm like, it's almost became like a mission to save it, to make it able to smoke. Like I said, I did a little surgical procedure on it, and it made it. I smoked it to the nub. I just wasn't happy about it. And I thought, I wonder if it would have been better had I, because you just grab them. I had 5 of them. So the one I made the video of was perfect. I mean, it was beautiful. Smoked great. I almost wish I would have grabbed the bad one for the video, but it's just all random luck. I believe I still have 3 more of them, and I'm interested to see what those other 3 are like. Again, was that one just like that Perdomo I had trouble with, or half of them like, I don't know. I haven't smoked enough Cohibas to know. I've smoked 3 Cohibas on camera. The Puro, the Red Dot, and the Blue. And if I was going to suggest one of them, I would suggest the Blue. I think the Blue is sort of the most mild of the 3, and I said it for some reason. I can't explain why I feel how I feel, but I feel like the mild cigars are sort of winning me over a little bit. You're still here. Thanks for being here. Hopefully you're enjoying a cigar and something to drink with me. Cheers. Cheers to exploration. Cheers to life and what a gift it is. Been watching the World Series. That's interesting. They had man, it almost brought me to tears. Game 4, they had a stand up to cancer where they had, he must have passed them out at the stadium, like a piece of paper, like a score, almost like a card. That you're supposed to write someone's name in that that's been affected by cancer or is fighting cancer, or, man, that is like, MLB should be commended for doing things like that. I know the NFL does things like that too. I'm sure the NBA does. I'm not a big NBA guy. I like football and baseball, but I like the NBA. I just not a big fan of it. It's not like I am the other two. But I mean, there's no better way to bring awareness, than on a stage like that. Cancer's that kind of thing that just affects us all, We all know somebody, or know somebody that knows somebody. All right. On that somber note, I'm just kidding. I'm trying not to make it a somber note. It's a good thing that they raise awareness like that. But it just reminds me, take care of yourself and each other. That's really all we got at the end of the day. Life seems like it's too short not to think about that stuff and to care. So like I said in the beginning, I hope you guys have a great day. Hope everybody's doing great. Come back and see me. I'm going to make another video soon. Highly recommend both of these things. Accidental inhale there. So as I mentioned in the beginning, still very light. I can't imagine if you inhale the Toro like that, how much choking I'd be doing right now. So looking forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Cheers.